On the rack.
The Guthrie Arts Center is a venue through which various art forms are explored.
I would think that it is to promote all kinds of arts, heritage arts, and then fine art and crafts. I mean, a long time ago, people, that was how they expressed their art, through their craft, through woodworking or making quilts or whatever. So we want to reach all of that.
Whether it's weaving, pottery, or silversmithing, the diversity of the art forms all have common themes or goals. It brings everyone together as a community.
And I think that's the good thing about us. We do have a lot of people with great talents in this center, and they take something home and learn something. And spinning, yes, we do hand spinning here.
No matter the designated medium, it all takes concentration, the pulling of one's thoughts together to create, to string together a series of inventive moves to satisfy the imagination.
I mean, a long time ago, people, that was how they expressed their art, through their craft, through woodworking or making quilts or whatever. So we want to reach all of that.
John Cole teaches the essential skills of silversmithing, from basic forming to structure.
All the skills that a person would need to be able to take silver or bronze or copper sheet, tubing, and wire, and be able to form them into different pieces of jewelry, be it rings or pendants or bracelets or anything like that.
And just like so many art forms, the methods John teaches go back many, many years. Hand tools are the preferred methods taught.
There's just something extra you get out of a project working with your hands and using hand tools to form and shape and fasten a piece that you just don't get by having it stamped out of a machine.
And we'd like to have people from all ages. We want art for everybody, not just all kids, all adults, just art for the community.
An art center that's been a hidden jewel for years is now truly starting to shine brightly. The community coming together to learn, to create, to make friends. But don't forget, when they say community, it can also mean those extra special friends as well.
It was the first time in 55 years to come back here and be a part of this and see the parade. And I used to come here as a little boy and try to come up from Broad Street where I lived and come up there and sit on the curb and try to get me a spot about 10 a.m. in the morning and hope that I didn't get pushed away. But it's really a great time. We were able to come in on Thursday here this week, and I spoke to a bunch of Little League kids here at the museum on Thursday night, and it was a lot of fun for me. We had an opportunity last night to enjoy the carnival and enjoy some restaurant stuff here, and and today for the parade. It was really good.
Whoa. Every night, sit alone and talk and watch a hawk
making lazy circles
in the sky.
We know we belong
to the land,
and the land we
Belong to his hand.
so when we say
yeah,
We're only saying
you're doing fine,
Oklahoma. Come see for yourself.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you would all stand as we begin every one of our city councils with a pledge and a prayer. Councilman Wood, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you bow with me in prayer, please? Our Heavenly Father, we do thank you for our community and those that serve this community in a sacrificial way. And we want to thank you for the council that have served over the last year or so, and that we just ask your blessing upon their lives as they move on. We ask that you be with our new council as they move in and take these places. And we just ask that your blessing would be upon our community as we move forward. Thank you for the future of Guthrie. Father, we also ask that you just be with the families. We've lost some great people in our community, and we would just ask that you'd be with them as they grieve the lost. And the latest one, Dennis Clark, and the families there, and I just pray that you just nurture them as they miss a great man and a friend. And we just ask your blessing. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Don. I call the Guthrie Economic Development Authority meeting of May 2nd to order, please. We have the second item on the agenda is a consent agenda of one item, which is the approval of the minutes of the special Guthrie Economic Development Authority meeting of November 15th, 2016. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
And a second. Any other discussion of that? Submit your votes, please. Let's see the votes. Unanimous approval of all those present to approve the Economic Development Authority meeting minutes. With that, being the only item on that agenda, I adjourn that meeting and call to order our Public Works Authority meeting of May 2nd. The consent agenda also is one item, which is the approval of the minutes of the regular Guthrie Public Works Authority meeting of April 4th, 2017.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please submit your votes.
Sorry.
Let's see the votes. Unanimous approval of the Public Works Authority meeting. With that, I adjourn that meeting. And don't you wish they all went this quick? I call to order our City Council meeting of May 2nd. We have two items on the consent agenda. Approval of the minutes of the City Council workshop held April 4th, and approval of the minutes of the regular City Council meeting held April 4th also. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
And a second. Any discussion? Submit your votes. Jeff?
I'll vote start.
Done. Let's see the votes. Unanimous approval of all those present to approve the City Council meeting. With that, our City Council meeting, first City Council meeting. Oh, I'm sorry. We have recognition of service, presentation of the wonderful dollar to City Council members. Leroy, are you presenting? I am. Very good.
City staff and the community wish to express our thanks and appreciation for your dedicated service and commendable leadership as elected officials of the City of Guthrie for the period from May 2015 through April 2017. Your collective insight, vision, and strategic guidance has set the stage for the City of Guthrie to be a vibrant and a competitive community moving forward. With those thoughts, I'm proud to present to each of you a ceremonial dollar certificate for your service to the community. Do you want to come down here, or you want me to bring them to you? The first one is the mayor.
I think we'll come to you.
All right. It's amazing what you'll do for $1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From RoboCop. Remember that one? Yeah. RoboCop. I'll buy that for $1.
Just give it to my wife.
Yeah. Yeah, don't spend it all in one place.
Dr. John Wood, let me check. This kind of looks like a quarter. Thank you for your years of service, sir.
I guarantee it.
We can pose any way you all want if there's people taking pictures. Ed Wood. And Jeff Taylor, Ward 2.
You can just give him a picture.
You think I ought to take this back and change it?
Yeah, give him a 50-cent piece.
Good.
Brian Bothroyd. Thank you, sir.
Which makes it nice.
Mr. Thomas isn't with us tonight, so the last one will be to Cheryl Paget. Turn it back in.
Stealing.
Goes to the general fund.
Yeah.
Back to the general fund.
Very good. Well, congratulations to all those receiving this special award. Item number 4 is request comments from members of the City Council. I'd like to speak first. Both Z and John have provided outstanding leadership for 8 years as of service to our community, and I think that is a fantastic legacy of spending 8 years in helping our community develop, achieve greater expectations. I think both of these individuals during their tenure have seen a lot of changes, have been a fulcrum for many of those changes themselves, and a catalyst. So I think the city has been well served by both of these individuals, and they will continue to serve our community in many special ways, I am sure. I suspect that they will have a few things to say. John will have a few things to say at his time. But also, John, I'd like to thank your wife, Bonnie, because it's a partnership. I know that John has spent many hours in this role, and that takes him away a little bit from you. So I salute you too for your service and what you give and have given to the community. So thank you both. We're going to save you for last. Okay. Councilman Bothroyd.
The exact same thing. Appreciate everything, and you've done a fantastic job, and you're right here, so we won't miss you too much. We can just come pound on your door. And that's it.
Councilwoman Paget.
Oh, unprepared as usual. Well, thanks to all of the city council. I think we've had a great 2 years. Look forward to the next 2 years, and best wishes to John and Z.
Jeff?
I got this long speech. No.
I wanted to actually say thank you to staff. I appreciate the flyers for my mom's funeral. Thank you very much. I really greatly appreciate the words you all have said. Lots of you commented, so, and it really is a mess when you come home sometimes, you just want to bang your head against the wall. Also, same thing about Dawn. I want to say something about Dennis Clark. When the new sanctuary was built, Debbie and I were dating at the time, and that tells you how long ago it was. It's 28 years ago, as a matter of fact, this month. And we were talking about, well, we'll get married, and we'll probably get married either in the old sanctuary, maybe we'll get lucky, we might get married in the new sanctuary. Well, Dennis was a couple, I guess, was going to get married, and I guess they kind of backed out, and we ended up being the first couple in the new sanctuary. So I feel like you kind of leave part of yourself there, and I'm going to miss Dennis. And I know there's several in the audience tonight that know Dennis very well as well. Dennis, you're up there, so I appreciate what you did for us, and thanks for the council. I appreciate having an opportunity to say something.
Up there with your mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councilman Edwood.
Appreciate your service, John. Thank you for being there. I think we've all, in this last year, and now having a firm footing on what's going on here on the council, I think we've accomplished quite a bit. I think we've all done well. We've come quite a ways. Got a brand new, really great guy sitting right here for city manager, and I think we're doing really well, and I'm looking forward for the next year and looking forward to the new council coming on so that we can all continue on this road. So, and with staff's help and everything, because you all we can't do it without you. So thank you all. So appreciate it.
Councilman John Wood.
I appreciate the opportunity, Guthrie, to serve, and I've served with a lot of great people, a lot of managers. I think 5 managers, 3 mayors. I don't know if I can count how many councilmen I've served with in 8 years. 8 years is a long time. I want to thank staff for all the selfless work that you guys do. You're not paid enough for what you do and what you get put up with and have to deal with. But you know, I really I want to thank the council and previous councils for really upgrading the infrastructure in our town. We've had to do a lot of work to get us where we need to be, and we still have a lot more to do. And you guys have a lot of work to do, like the wastewater treatment plant, for example, and things like that. So I appreciate the opportunity. I'm sure I'll be calling Jim and Ed on occasion, my councilmen. I'm going to be promoted to citizen tonight, so that'll be nice. A new identity for me, you know. So, well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, I adjourn our first city council meeting of May 2nd. And now we will come together and have the be sworn in.
Gentlemen, if you please raise your right hands. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. That I will support, obey, and defend. The Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of Oklahoma. And will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. That I have not paid or contributed, either directly or indirectly, any money or other valuable thing, to procure my nomination or election, except for necessary and proper expenses, expressly authorized by law. That I have not knowingly violated any election law of the state, or procured it to be done by others in my behalf, that I will not knowingly receive, directly or indirectly, any money or other valuable thing, for the performance or non-performance of any act or duty pertaining to my office, other than the compensation allowed by law. And I further swear that I will not receive, use, or travel upon any free pass or on free transportation during my term of office. Congratulations.
In the event some crazy nuclear North Korea goes rogue.
No, we shouldn't. And I don't know whether we, honestly don't know whether we farm that out to the county and use theirs.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Well, either way.
Okay, I call to order our city council meeting. I'm sorry, our Public Works Authority meeting of May 2nd. Second item on the agenda is community announcements and recognition, and we do have a proclamation and one community announcement. I'll read the proclamation. This is a proclamation for Community Action Month. Whereas community action agencies were created when the Economic Opportunity Act of 1964 was signed into law, and whereas community action agencies have 53 years' history of promoting self-sufficiency for the limited income, and whereas community action agencies have made an essential contribution to individuals and families in Oklahoma by providing them with innovative and cost-effective programs, and whereas community action agencies are needed as major participants in the reform of the welfare system as we know it, and whereas welfare reform in Oklahoma has benefited from the state's partnership with community action agencies, and whereas the limited income continue to need opportunities to improve their lives and their working conditions, thus ensuring that all citizens are able to live in dignity, and whereas Oklahoma and the entire United States must continue to wage war on poverty by providing support and opportunities for all citizens in need of assistance. Now therefore, I, Stephen J. Gentling, Mayor of the City of Guthrie, do hereby declare in Guthrie, Oklahoma, in recognition of hard work and dedication of Central Oklahoma Community Action Agency, the month of May 2017 as Community Action Month. And I know we have a number of representatives from the Community Action Agency. Come on and just stand right here. Mike's going to get a great picture of us.
I don't know, mine goes, does it? It was beeping it, I plugged it in, like the battery.
Now you gotta go to class, don't go mag. You're gonna have to go to class and use it.
Oh, great. Plug it in right quick. Ah, okay.
Really? So we had to go.
See, I read the agenda, I read on my computer screen because I think it's because I'm getting old. I want it to be big. I got a big 24-inch screen and I can sit there and widen it. Okay, I can see now.
Yeah.
Yes. And normally I'll sit there and just kind of flip it back and forth.
Pastor Don, I think you have a announcement, community announcement?
Yes. Wonderful job, Tiffany.
Mayor and the council, I'd like to remind you that Thursday, May the 4th, is National Day of Prayer, and the Ministerial Alliance and some churches have really want to make that a special day. We're starting out at 8 o'clock with a breakfast at Hershey Hammond's Church, First Baptist on Springer, and we'll have a prayer time there. Then 11:30, we're going to meet around the flagpole at the post office for a time of prayer with the community. Anybody can come and be a part of that. Also, we're going to do something a little different this year. We're going to have a table set up that if you have prayer requests that you can come and write them on a piece of paper, and we'll put them on the board, and anybody can come all day long and pray about whatever needs they have, or pray what's on the board. But we want to invite all the council and mayor and whoever would like to come and participate in that. It ought to be a great day. We've been just praying for a day, 100 days with the president, and we just want to finish it up with this great day of National Day of Prayer. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor John. And good opportunity for all of us to join in prayer. The item number 3 is the consent agenda, items A through D. A is the approval of the Finance Committee's recommendation to adjust a utility account. B is execution of our interlocal agreement with the Public Works Authority and the Rural Water. C is to deny a tort claim as recommended by our insurance group, our Oklahoma Municipal Assurance Group. And D is to deny another tort claim also as recommended by our OMAG group. I'll entertain a motion on that consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second? Is there any discussion? Submit your votes, please.
Yeah.
Let's see the votes. Unanimous approval from those council
Except Smedley, his lights out.
members. I'm sorry.
I think his lights out.
That burned out last time.
I'm going to call it as unanimous approval.
No works, but yes, doesn't it?
Okay.
The red one works.
White one doesn't. Okay. You'll have to give us.
You know what you gotta vote from now on.
Roll call.
You'll have to tell us. Unanimous approval of the consent agenda by all the council members. Item number 4 is a discussion and possible action concerning awarding of a bid to the Davenport Construction for the master meters. Comments from staff?
I'll go ahead with it. The Davenport Construction was the low bid, $635,009. It was close to and within range of Mars Engineering original estimate of $742,070. This company has done this type of work in the past. Their bid and prior work has been reviewed by the city engineer, and he recommends that we award the contract to this firm.
Okay, and the funding source for this, is this coming out of the water supply or water funding? Oklahoma City Waterline Fund. Okay. Any discussion? Questions? Council? Okay. I'll entertain a motion
So moved.
and a second.
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? Submit your votes, please.
All votes are in.
Let's see the votes. Unanimous approval of all the lights that are working.
Mine was a yes.
I will take that verbal as a yes. So unanimous approval of all council to approve that bid to Davenport Construction. Item number 5, discussion and possible action for approving the master meter project with Myers Engineering, not to exceed $20,400, and resident project estimate of $20,000. Any staff comments on this?
Again, it's required to have engineering oversight during the construction period, And Mars Engineering is our engineer, and this would be task order number 126. The first two items, construction phase engineering and construction staking services, are not to exceed $20,400, and then the on-site residential project representative is estimated at $28,800, and that depends on weather delays and days out in the field to monitor construction is why it's an estimate.
So this is the approval of Myers staffing those two phases.
Correct.
Okay?
Doesn't that seem a bit steep, or am I just off base somewhere
What is
on
that,
that?
49.2 for them just to oversee the being put in? Is that it?
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
50 grand.
yeah.
That just seems a little bit high to me. But there's a lot of those that seem a little bit high to me.
Well, I think our relationship with Myers has reflected a fairly appropriate level of support, cost of their support.
Well, we sure pay for it.
I don't,
That's for sure.
I don't have anything to compare that with.
I don't
per
either.
se,
Yeah.
But I do have a bit of
I'd like to know
They
if that's,
support
I'd
them.
like to know if that 50 grand is the norm, is what I'd like to know. What we're looking at is 49,000 some odd dollars, and we have no clue what we're getting for that at all.
If I could, of course, unfortunately, with the Oklahoma statutes, you can't bid engineering services. So the way you select engineers is you go out for proposals if you're going to open it up, and then you rate them and you select who is the best engineer, and then you negotiate with them. It's a little bit of a difficult situation because when you negotiate, you don't have any other bids to compare it to. But if you don't reach an agreement with them, then you go to the second best rated engineer and negotiate with them and so forth until you come to agreement. I did not do a review of this task order because it's something in process on new projects as we get into them. What we will try to do is provide you some number that seems to be the standard for the industry to compare to the proposal that we get from Myers Engineering.
How long is the master meter project supposed to take? How long are they going to be overseeing? 200?
Okay, any other,
A long time.
are there any other questions or concerns? I'll
go with.
ahead.
No, I think that's fine. I take it from the city manager that we're going to be looking into this thing a little bit more.
I think we need to.
200-day build-out seems to be an awfully long time also, but I don't know how many meters we're putting in either.
They won't be on site. every
8
day.
meters and
They'll be on
200.
site one-
Not regular meters, they're master meters.
Oh, yeah, yeah. They're big. Yeah, they're big. They're
Yes.
huge.
They're $600,000 meters.
Yes, they're, well, hope they're accurate. So, okay, well, then I'd make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Submit your votes, please. See the votes?
Verbal yes.
A unanimous approval.
Accepted.
Unanimous approval to move forward on task order 126, approval of the action of Myers Engineering for 2 phases of the master meter project. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I adjourn our Guthrie Public Works Authority meeting and call to order our city council meeting. We have on the consent agenda items A through E. A is the authorizing the purchasing agent to solicit bids for the Fifth Street Stormwater Drainage Project. B is to declare some city property that it's reached its useful life and become obsolete. C is to approve budget amendment number 10, which amends budget for general fund, fire fund, and capital project, the city water line fund, and hotel motel fund. D is approval of the minutes of the special finance committee meeting of March 30th. And E is to approve the finance committee recommendation to deny refunding the $50 rental fee for the Mineral Wells Pavilion rental of March 25th. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
On the consent
I
agenda.
would like,
Is there?
clarification, I would like the new guys to know what the Fifth Street storm
Okay.
deal is, because I don't know that they do know.
Okay. Anybody in the city want to briefly tell us about the Fifth Street storm sewer? It's in terrible shape. It's been viewed by camera, and we have the
Not good at all.
storm sewer is caved in on us.
Test all that.
Maxine Pruitt.
No, it don't work.
Good evening, council, and our new council members. Welcome. Back in July, I believe it was, we had a cave-in right there at the Fifth Street Bridge. And with a little investigation and probing and trying to figure out what happened, we discovered it was the drainage. The drainage is about 17 feet down, and it's the drainage that picks up the water that comes off of the alley between Harrison and Oklahoma. It also picks up the water that comes west of the railroad track, and then it flows down into the creek. It is too deep for city machinery and people to do so. And it's also required engineering because it's a public job, so drainage. And so that is where we are now. We have, I think we gave the estimate, it seemed like it was about $226,000. And the funding is coming from the money that was set aside from the 3/4-inch sales tax that we were going to use some of it on the swimming pool and I think the basketball courts and the tennis courts. We were able to rehab the tennis courts, and we're going to be able to save enough money to take care of this drainage issue.
And the basketball.
And the basketball court, yes, yes.
I'll clarify.
Yes, thank you, thank you,
All those
Brian.
projects are still getting done.
Yes, they're still getting done, and we're in the process of doing that right now as far as getting the drawings and the estimates and all for that. They're still on the CIP project list, yes.
Good.
Do you want to tell them how old the line is?
I don't know how old the line is.
It's been there for a while.
What did this
been
rain
there.
do to it? There was had to be tremendous amount.
Well, it's in such bad shape that the alley that has the grate that it fills up all the time, they have gone in there and tried to probe and tried to put the camera through it. Nothing. They can't find anything. The drain is it's just not there.
It's just a hole in the ground.
Just a hole in the ground. And so the water has no place to go.
So does that drain start and finish where you're talking about? It starts right there and goes to the,
It starts right out here just west of the railroad tracks down Oklahoma.
Okay.
At first, we thought it came from farther up.
but yeah.
But it
that's
doesn't.
what I was asking, is if it
No,
came further
we've
up or
got
down.
one that goes into the creek down about close to the railroad tracks. And this one is just beyond the bridge a little bit.
Okay.
And so that's the one that we'll be taking care of. And it's, like I said, it's about 17 feet down, and it's been there for a while.
It's a deep hole.
Any idea on how long the repair will take? or
It shouldn't take too long, and what's helpful now is the fact that street's closed because of the other construction.
The viaduct.
So it shouldn't hamper any traffic too badly.
Okay, good. Any other questions?
Oh, thank you.
Good?
You're welcome.
Good. Okay, we have a motion and a second then to approve the consent agenda. Any other discussion? Submit your votes, please. See the votes.
Verbal, yes.
Unanimous approval to approve the consent agenda items A through E. Item number 3 is action City Council to elect a vice mayor for a term of 2 years. This is a nomination by the mayor. As you would suspect, the vice mayor takes the mayor's place when the mayor is not available to run council meeting or to act in his or her behest and sign any particular documents that need to be signed. Clearly, all the members of the council are eligible to be vice mayor, and they're a talented group of individuals that are dedicated to our community. It was a significant discussion in my mind, and I have nominated Ed Wood as the vice mayor, and I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
And a second.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Submit your vote, please. And Mr. Wood is abstaining from the vote.
Okay, all votes are in.
See the votes. Unanimous approval
Yes.
of all those present with the abstention of Mr. Ed Wood to have Councilman Ed Wood as the vice mayor. Congratulations.
Thank you. I will do my best.
Item number 4 is a public hearing following discussion and possible action concerning the Zion Lutheran Church special use permit for expansion of their existing all-metal fellowship hall structure by, I think it was a 12 by 20 addition, I think, Jim. Is there any staff comments?
Mr. Hankey will make the presentation.
Good evening, council members. My name is Jim Hankey. I'm the city building official. The planning department received a request for an application to expand an existing metal structure at 419 North Oak Street from the Zion Lutheran Church. You should have in your packets some supporting documents and some photos, or at least a photo of the existing building. The application was heard by the Municipal Planning Commission on April 13th. Typical notification protocol was used regarding the public meeting. One letter of opposition was received from a nearby property owner. After discussion and consideration, the Planning Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval to the City Council to issue a special use permit. We do have some conditions that they inserted, and we do have the applicant present tonight. If you have any specific questions, Mr. Front, do you want to join me up here? This is Mr. James Freudenberger from the, your cousin, from the Zion Lutheran Church. The conditions were that the structure must be compliant with all building, fire, and life safety codes as adopted by the City of Guthrie, that the new structure must be built as far as possible to the west of the existing structure, or recessed 3 or 4 feet to the west from the southeast corner of the building. That way it could accommodate some landscaping on the east side, and that the structure was decided that it should not exceed 14 by 16. It was modified somewhat, 14 by 20, was modified somewhat to because of the relocation for the door, and that the material and color that was used must match the existing structure.
14 by 20 or 14 by 16?
I've got 14 by 16, but I stand corrected. I think it was 14
Yeah,
by
I think
20.
in our documents it was, actually, I think on our documents it was 12 by 20.
And that was the original request.
Okay,
Then it was
so that's
modified.
changed then, Jim? That's changed? It's changed, the size?
Yeah, 14 by 20.
By 20. Okay.
And we're going to move it over 4 feet from the east wall of the original structure.
So it's larger than the original request?
Well, that's what we came up with at the planning meeting, was 14 by 20.
Okay, I thought the dimensions were changed, but I didn't realize the building actually got larger. If
Yeah,
you
our
go-
document shows 12 by 20.
12 by 20.
Yeah.
That's what we originally
Well,
asked for.
and then it shows 14 by 16, and our actual, that was what the change has been, or what had been agreed to. Now it's changed again.
The original meeting, I think he was right. I meant to change that, but I didn't.
How big is the existing building? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. The existing building, what's the size of it?
45 by 100, I believe. 45
yeah.
wide, 100 foot long.
I have some concern. Obviously, the issue of metal buildings in the community is a hot topic, emotional with some. And I think the original building was kind of grandfathered in, or was maybe a part of the initial discussion about having metal buildings in the community. My concern is that I'm concerned about setting a precedent that any metal building in the community now can be added onto, or at least they can go before the Planning Commission and request to be added onto. And we're setting a little bit, I think, a precedent here that I'm concerned about. I understand the issues with metal buildings, and I also recognize that the appearance of metal buildings have improved dramatically over the years. This metal building is going to match the original building, which is how old, Jim?
Not over 15, I believe it's about 15 years
About 14,
old.
15 years. But I'm concerned about a precedent. I'm concerned about that if this goes forward and we approve it, that aren't we setting ourselves up for having to approve just about every request that comes in as an extension of the existing metal buildings in our community? That concerns me. I don't know if the Planning Commission had that discussion at all. Jim, you might be able to relate to that, but.
I think historically, special use permits are judged on an individual basis, because what might be appropriate on one side of the street might not be appropriate on the other side of the street. So that's the consideration that's given when you consider setting precedents.
Okay.
Well,
because this isn't hidden building. I mean, this is right out there. You can clearly see it from at least 2 directions, maybe 3. So that's a little bit of my concern in the request. Any other comments or questions?
I kind of feel the same as Steve does on it, in that we are going to set a precedent. How are you going to deny my extension of my metal building while passing this one?
Still gonna have to go to the Planning Commission.
I understand, but.
And I know what you're saying.
Hypocrisy is the only way that they can deny it. And so they're not going to deny it.
Well, I'm gonna defend it, and I'll tell you why. It's all it's gonna be used for is storage. They're not gonna add on to their building anymore after that, from what I kind of gathered.
No,
And what I'm trying, I know what you're saying, Brian, and I agree with you, and I think Cheryl does too. We all agree. I don't want any more metal buildings in town either. Trust me, I don't. But if we start down this and tell everybody no, somewhere down the road, we may have to have a metal building for us as well, and I don't want to see that happen.
Well, see, and I don't necessarily have a problem with metal buildings, to be quite frank.
Right.
Where I have a problem is hypocrisy. I got a big problem with that. And so we're sitting here, I mean, we've sat here with people that have 5 acres plus, and we've turned them down flat for putting up very nice metal buildings in rural Guthrie proper. Okay, but yet we're going to approve this. Okay, and I just think it's hypocrisy, is what I think it
Brian,
is.
I'd like to support that, and I will tell you why. 2 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to travel to Virginia to a really small town, Christiansburg. Has a population of around 18 to 20,000, but it's a lot like Guthrie with red brick buildings downtown, and then it kind of grew from there, and they've got the churches in different places. But I recognized that they had allowed metal buildings everywhere, and it looked terrible. And I got home and I said to myself, drove down Main Street, and I said, wow, thank God we aren't letting metal buildings ever place here in town. We've kind of stopped that. So that being said, what they can eventually do to our city, I have to say I would be against it.
Well, I'm for metal buildings in rural areas, for sure. And I am. And I think that we need to look at an ordinance change in some of that. But I do have concerns of a double standard by approving this.
Has the church explored any other options to this expansion? I understand that you want to use it primarily for storage. It's not the function that I have a concern with. It's the appearance. And knowing that that is a hot button item in our community. Is there any other option for the church?
Well, our problem now is that we have an Oktoberfest in October, and we have these couple of barbecuers that we have to take them down in the basement of the church, downstairs. You know, a cooker, you know, they're not light, they're not easy to handle. And then tables and chairs. If we got a lot of people in the assembly part of the building, why we got a lot of tables and chairs, and sometimes there's in the hallway, and that's not safe either. So we need to have a place where we can store these things. It's not going to be heated or air conditioned. This storage building isn't. It's just going to be a storage building too, and it'll have a metal door to get out for fire, you know, because there's already a metal door on the exit door, and we'll have another exit door to go on out.
Okay.
But
all right.
So with that being said, and Jeff, I do agree with you, okay, and I agree wholeheartedly pretty much that you need more storage, and I agree with that, okay, but the problem is everybody we've turned down needs the exact same thing, okay, and they've all been turned down, which they shouldn't have been, in my opinion.
I've got a question, because I don't know the answer, so
Right.
I'm going to ask. What we were turning them down for, was that for building new buildings that were metal buildings, or for adding on to existing metal?
Yes.
Because this metal building's still
No,
going to be
I
there
know.
regardless of how we
Right.
rule
No, I
today.
agree. And that's another conundrum we got on the deal, is it's already there. And so that goes to Steve's deal, is that, so do we set the precedent to let everybody expand their metal buildings? I don't know. I don't know that I'm not saying that I'm against the expansion of the metal building. All I'm saying is I'm against hypocrisy, okay, and
Well,
what we
I
create.
agree with that, but I just don't see how
I feel
a
that-
yea or a nay vote changes any of this. Because you still got a metal building, it's still there.
The building, yes, and the precedent was set with the metal building that's there now. I feel that, yes, I understand what you're saying with hypocrisy. People may come back later and ask to expand their buildings, but again, it's going to be a case-by-case basis going in front of the Planning Commission at that time, and then eventually it'll come to us or Board of Adjustment at that time. I think changing the construction style or material that would be added to this building, because they're going to add to this building, that's just there is to it, will be more noticeable or would be more highly visible than, say, using the same construction materials and techniques that are there. I don't particularly like it, but I understand that they need more space.
May I say, the Planning Commission didn't like the idea either. They wanted, if we were going to add on to the end of the building, which is what we originally planned, but they said if you will move it back 4 feet and then landscape around 2 sides of it, well then, you know, they went ahead and approved it.
Well, Jim, what was the landscaping that the church is willing to do? Is it, tall landscaping, or
I don't know.
is it bushes, or?
Originally, they came out, the city manager there had the ordinance that you have wainscoting. So
Right.
I'm assuming that the shrubbery or whatever would be at that height at least.
All right. Comments by city manager?
Just a point of clarification, if you look at Article 22 in our ordinance, the building design standards, on residential, that's where there is zero standard for metal buildings, no metal buildings. On commercial buildings, it says metal exterior materials cannot exceed 60%, and the design must be balanced and aesthetically pleasing. So the standard for residential properties and a commercial building are not the same.
So the church is a commercial zone?
I would think you would treat it as a commercial.
Probably. Certainly not residential.
And the other question I have is, how wide is the building, the end that you're adding on to?
How what?
How wide is?
The building itself?
Yes.
45 feet wide.
Okay, but the end that you're attaching the expansion on, how wide is it across there?
14
It's 14,
and 20.
That's the new one.
but the end that you're going to attach the addition on, how wide is the end of the building that you're attaching?
45 feet.
So that's 45 feet across the end of it? Okay.
It's 45 by 100 building
So you're just adding a little bump out on the
You're
back
right.
of it to store your stuff
on
in.
the end of it.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't recall seeing wainscoting on the picture. Is there wainscoting on your existing building?
No, they
No.
didn't go with that.
No.
Okay. So it is going to look different than your existing building because of the wainscoting that.
We're going to match the paint. I mean, it's probably faded some from, 15 years, but we're
Okay,
match it as close as we can to the tin that's there, the metal that's on there.
sure, sure. Any other discussion, questions by members of the council or staff? Comments?
Just a point of clarification, since this is supposed to be a public hearing, we might want to make sure we open it up to anybody in the audience that might have input.
Okay. Is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak to this issue? Okay, no other comments or questions? Okay, I'll entertain a motion on this item.
So moved.
Second, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Okay, submit your votes, folks. See the votes.
Verbal yes.
It's a verbal yes.
Verbal yes.
By a vote of 4-3, the motion passes, and the building, as by the Planning Commission, is to go ahead.
Thank you.
Item number 5, discussion and possible action concerning the purchase of a Ram crew cab truck for the Parks Department. Staff comments?
Maxine,
Maxine, you're going to ride in it?
You're gonna get your, you'll need your step ladder to climb into it.
Oh.
Just got to pull that new tractor with it.
This particular truck will replace a 1999 Dodge pickup that has been used for a trash pickup. What we would do is we would move down the line the next older pickup for the trash, and we would put this one to the front of the, like possibly the superintendent's truck. So far, he hadn't been driving one. And the old 99 Dodge, well, it was just not worth fixing. Benny said it was going to cost a lot more money than it was worth to fix it. So we were able to find some money in the budget. And this is a Dodge pickup that is off state contract. John Vance has it, so we're buying locally, which is a good thing. And we need it.
All right.
I motion to approve.
Second.
Is there a motion and a second? Any other discussion or questions? Submit your votes. See the votes.
Verbal yes.
Unanimous approval of item number 5 to purchase a new Dodge.
New
There we go. All right. New Dodge Ram truck. Whew. Wow. Okay. Is it getting warm in here?
I think your face is turned.
I know, I'm sure it
Shades
is.
of
I'm
red.
sure it is. Okay, item number 6, a discussion, possible action to approve contract with YMCA to operate the municipal swimming pool for the 2017 season. Comments from staff?
I'm on handout. We had a meeting with YMCA representatives. And when they wanted to draft the agreement and we got it back, there were 3 items different than our discussion. And they're not major items. But the contract's very similar to last year, but in the 3rd paragraph where it talks about hours, we had discussed and they agreed to document that the open swimming would be from 11:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. And that would be documented. In the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th paragraph down, it starts with a fee of no more than $3. We agreed that it would be, if the YMCA decided to amend that fee, that it would be subject to concurrence by the city of Guthrie rather than at their sole discretion. The way they worded it, this fee shall be subject to change by or at the discretion of the YMCA and/or the city. What we wanted to say is that it would be subject to our concurrence rather than unilaterally. And on the next page, after the bullets, the 2nd paragraph that starts YMCA has insurance coverage. We wanted inserted the language YMCA shall provide the city of Guthrie a certificate of insurance and the city shall be listed as an additional insured. So not major differences, but there was some differences from what we thought our discussion was. We've sent this back to the YMCA. We didn't get it till Friday, I don't think. So they've not had time, I guess, to go through their process. We could table this until our next meeting, but go ahead and plan for them to operate it and schedule getting it ready, and then approve this agreement at the next one.
Do we not get any operating revenue to offset chemicals and hard expense that we put into it? No?
No, sir.
That's the way it's always been, huh?
That's my understanding.
Pretty much. Well, given that we don't have an actual response from them with our proposed changes, I would think this should be a non-action item.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to have to table it.
We'll table it until next meeting. Do you think they'll have a response by next meeting?
I would think so.
Okay.
Well, I motion to table it.
Second.
Any discussion? Submit your votes, folks, to table the item. See the votes?
Yes.
Unanimous approval to table the item with the YMCA. Hopefully take it up at our next city council meeting. Item number 7, discussion of possible action to adopt resolution 2017-10 concerning policies of the Guthrie Police Department Policy Manual. Chief, you want to make some comments about it? Okay, if anybody has any questions from the council?
I would point out on the resolution that was in your agenda packet, policy 103, policy manual, has been deleted from the packet for tonight. The rest of them we would be considering for adoption. The 103 policy manual, that policy we will bring back at a later date.
So this, if there is a motion, it will be with that amendment,
Correct.
okay? How long had those policies been in force, in operation, Chief?
The policy manual that we have right now is, the majority of it's probably close to 25 years old. So what we're doing right now with the assistance of the Oklahoma Municipal League, is that right? Yeah.
Yep.
They bought a service from a company out of California, I believe. And they're pushing these out to all their member municipalities. And they're awesome policies. And of course, we modified a little bit to match our jurisdiction, obviously. I think Owens Mill is spending $500,000 to bring this to Oklahoma. And obviously, it's designed to reduce liability for you, which reduces liability for them. But they're great. You've never seen a policy like this before that absolutely addresses everything inside state statutes and pertinent statutes on the federal level. And it ties it back to each individual person. I mean, it's wonderful.
Okay.
So we're going through this one chapter at a time because it's a headache and a heartache many times to replace the old ones. And
Okay.
getting everybody on board is a little bit.
Okay. The documents that we had as part of the 120 or so pages of documents that we had to review for tonight's council didn't reflect what the changes were. It reflected what the new changes, but not what the old thing was.
The city manager and I are keeping track of new policies that replace or modify old ones. We have had very few that do so. We have many current policies that either don't apply from a legal standpoint anymore, or are so outdated that they're almost irrelevant. But we have statutory mandates on certain other policies that need to be addressed sooner rather than later. So we are keeping track, and as a new one replaces, modifies, changes, whatever, an old one, we will let you know that.
And normally, we would bring you documents that are redlined where you can easily see how the wording is being amended. Unfortunately, in this case, there's so drastic of changes that it would be difficult to provide.
It would all be
you a
underlined.
redline.
There'd be a lot of red lines.
Yes, yeah.
I wrote some papers like that.
I believe that.
Back with lots of red lines on them.
I would point out also that administration is not doing this unilaterally. Just like the last resolution you adopted, we are working with the rank and file, and the FOP have signed a document that they agree and will abide by these policies and resolutions.
It is absolutely not our goal to just come in and say, here's a piece of paper and ram it down their throats. It's not beneficial to them, to me, or you in the city. To have buy-in from every party is ultimately what we want. We're not always going to agree 100%, but to get buy-in is what we're looking for.
Good.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Submit your votes, please.
All votes are in.
See the votes.
Yes.
We have unanimous approval to adopt that resolution 2017-10. Item number 8, discussion and possible action to clarify GTV 20 mission and priorities. Staff comments.
This was added to the packet on Monday, so in case someone did not see it or have it in the packet, I wanted to hand it out. I've attached a spreadsheet of the current production programming commitments of GTV 20. Televising meetings of the city and the Public Works Authority on GTV 20 is an important element to our commitment for transparency and open government. I also think in the past, our TV stations is a tremendous asset for promoting our local community through coverage on special events, festivals, local artists, public institutions, and area business and industry. We're not talking about a wholesale change, but We'd like to strive to move a little bit in the future to fully utilize GTV 20's talents and resources to promote tourism, retail development, business and industry to grow our local economy. So we want to try to use it to the degree we can to be a promoting tool to promote growth of our local economy. If you look at the list of meetings that are televised live, there's several of those, and it takes about 34 hours. And then the airport board is not televised live, it's recorded and then shown later, 8 hours. And then the chamber chat is done monthly, that's 32 hours. And these are estimates, of course, each month would fluctuate some. The roundup, legislative updates monthly, February through June, 20 hours. The Guthrie Artist Showcase, which there's only one remaining of it, took 20. All About Guthrie, which I understand the mayor it pretty much is the one that decides that programming, 32 hours. Chalk Talk, promoting the public schools, 16 hours. And then there are some additional hours that make up the hours for the month. What we would like to do with the blessing or guidance from the city council is maybe discontinue, at least initially, the park board, the forestry board, and the regional airport board to free up some time. And then we'd like to visit with these other entities on the programs we have to make sure that we're looking at programs that we can utilize to promote our community that in a way that would help grow our economy. For example, doing a testimonial with a local industry about how successful they've been in our community and how much they've enjoyed being in the community, workforce, those kind of things. We could put that on our website so when industries look at us, they would see those testimonials. Of course, those could be done as part of the All About Guthrie. It could be done as part of the chamber chat. We'd like to do one on Career Tech where we show the training that is available through VOTEC for industries that are expanding, new companies coming to town that don't realize that resource is there for them. Those are the type of things we'd like to do to move in that direction, to use this not only to meet our current obligations on transparency and to promote local businesses, special events, but also use this as a tool for economic development.
If I may jump in the Parks Board, I mean, our parks are pretty critical to our community, in my opinion. And that's something that I think that we need to invest more dollars, resource in, is our parks, our lakes, our parks, all of it. I don't really want to see the parks not be televised.